Hey there, collective. Just a little pre-game show note here. I've already completed the reading, but I realized it was like a 2 hour long reading, ancestor reading. They wanted to come in with some big messages and a lot of channeling. So it is a 2 hour message, so I'm going to break it down into two. I will be putting part one out today, and part two will be out tomorrow. So anytime that I get a really big message that's coming through and it's like 2 hours, then just note, unless it's like a pick a card kind of spread where that will all be together. But otherwise, if it's a general collective reading and it's that long, then just keep in mind that I'll generally put out part one on the day that I record and then part two the following day. So stay tuned for that part. It'll be out tomorrow. Okay? Enjoy the show. Hello, beautiful collective. Welcome in Unmasked Universe. Welcome into your reading for Tuesday. I'm so happy that you're here today. I was actually going to do a totally different reading, and my mind was dead set on doing that reading. However, the ancestors stepped in and they were like, no, no, no. We need a word with you guys. So, your ancestors would like to come through today and share a message with you. So we're going to, I pulled out completely different cards today. Some of them were the same, but um, I did pull out different cards. I set up my table differently. So yes, this is a representation of the energy that's coming through right now from the ancestors to all of us. And they have some guidance or some messages or need to tell you something. I'm not sure what it is that's coming through, but we're going to find out together. So I hope you're as excited as I am. I'm just going to clear the energy here. I have already cleared my house, but before I sit down, I want to clear the energy today. I'm feeling called to do that. So you will not hear this bell because my lovely camera does cut it out. So no worries on the sound. All right. So I've already got my spirit team with me. I pre-shuffled all the cards, all of that, all that fun stuff. Um, However, I am going to say that if part of the message does not resonate with you, clearly it may not be for you. And don't force it to fit. Take what's yours, what you intuitively know is yours, or you feel in your gut is yours, or if it comes up later and you're like, it keeps coming forward, then you know that's yours, right? Maybe that's something that was hidden or that you perhaps weren't focusing on. Whatever it is that comes through for you today, um, allow the messages to speak for themselves. A lot of it, I think, is going to be confirmation today. That's just the general feeling that I'm getting. But again, I don't know what's going to come through today. So I'm going to call on all of your ancestors now. So just give me a moment here. I call forth all of the holy ancestors and the divine guides of the collective at this time, and I ask that you step forward in representation of each individual that you oversee and assist at this time. I ask that you retrieve the most relevant messages and information that needs to be collected and given to the collective at this time, communicated to them, or the clarity that they're needing at this time. Thank you. We are honored to have you here. Stepping aside, and allowing spirit to pass through me. Okay. So I just want to thank Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel, as well as Archangel Metatron for presiding over this reading, and to all of your holy ancestors as well as my own and spirit guides who have stepped forward for you. Thank you. We love you and we are honored to have you here. So, where would you like me to start, ancestors? The runes. Okay. Yes. So I pulled out some really specific and different cards today. Um, because the ancestors were coming through. And so, for those of you who know you have Norse blood or Viking blood in your veins, or for those of you who have lived those lives, but maybe it's not in your current bloodline, some ancestors would like to communicate some messages with regards to these runes. So, what illumination would you like to bring to the collective, please, ancestors? Hmm, These two? Okay, so we have Wanyo, which is joy, and Hagalaz. I don't know if I'm saying these right. I kind of butcher them every time, but disruption. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to show you these cards because they are absolutely gorgeous. And I did forget to look if they were sideways or upside down. Oops, my bad. Well, you can tell me in the comments, and because they have different meanings if they're upside down. And I feel like I just turned one around, but for some reason I was just in the zone and I forgot what it is. So if I did, let me know in the comments and I will read the reversal or type it into the comments for you guys so you can have a look at that, okay? Sorry. I'll pay closer attention. I don't know if I showed you that one. All right. Ancestors, what would you like to communicate? Oh, I'm hearing one more. Okay. I wonder if it was the one that let's take the one from the top here. Harvest. Okay, okay. So Jera, oh, maybe I should turn that the right way. All right, ancestors, what do you want to channel through here? They said it's okay to read the cards today. However, the one thing that did channel through right away when I asked that was um, there is some sort of disruption to your harvest at this time, and it could be negative thinking. It could be an impairment of your joy or your access to joy, something that is creating some upheaval in your life, some disruption. But in the same sense, because there seems to be some blockage to accessing joy or to feeling joy or to believing that there's something joyful about your life or in your life. There's some sort of disruption to your happiness, is what I'm getting. This is affecting your ability to manifest and your harvest, right? So, from what I've gotten from this, what I'm hearing from the ancestors is that you have a manifestation available to you. However, because there is some sort of disruptive energy or feelings, maybe it's doubt or disbelief, um, based on whatever's going on in your current life circumstances, it's disrupting your ability for your manifestation to fully arrive. Like it's there, but you're not seeing it. It's almost like an opportunity that you're not seeing, right? And I see the eye here, and it's in the middle of the sun. So there's a sense of illumination needing to be needing to come forward. Like this is in a sense that you are not seeing it. You're looking for it, and you can see how the eye is looking up, right? And so you're looking for this opportunity, you're looking for your manifestations, you're looking for evidence or proof. Um, but from what I'm hearing is that you may be blocking this from actually arriving or showing up. Oh, my candle just went out. Hold on one second. I had a feeling it might because it was getting low. And, we want to give some energy to the ancestors because they use the elements to derive energy to help them help you. So, all right, so yeah, back to the picture here. So I get the sense that you're looking for evidence, you're looking for it, you're not sure, though you're having some sort of disbelief or untrust or doubt as to whether or not this is concrete, whether or not this is actually here, whether like you're looking for the evidence. I don't see anything happening, so it must not be happening, right? That kind of thing. And so because there's this disruption to your emotions, and to the joy that helps to bring you into this. It's like a lack of trust or faith or belief because you're not seeing anything, right? And so this is blocking you right now from accessing your manifestation. And you can see the praying mantis, Mhm. He's sitting above the eye, almost as though in this depiction, what I'm seeing right now is this praying mantis is just sitting above and almost looming over you in a sense. That's kind of like the energy I'm getting about the praying mantis today is more that this is like a predatory energy or a lower vibrational energy that is attaching itself to you because you are allowing your emotions to sink into a lower vibration. And any fear-based energy, any anger, resentment, um, let's see, sadness, disappointment, regret, any of those emotions, doubt, lack, scarcity, those are all going to lower your vibration enough to allow other energies to come in and to attach themselves to you spiritually, energetically. And so I'm seeing this praying mantis kind of attaching itself to this energy here, which is a representation of you and your spiritual gifts and abilities. So if you're finding that you're having some troubles with your spiritual gifts and abilities at this time, like maybe it's your foresight, maybe it's your discernment, maybe it's your clear sight or clear vision. Perhaps you are having problems with any of if you're like clairsentient or claircognizant or any of those. But I'm really seeing the third eye here. So I'm getting that mainly there is some sort of blockage happening around the third eye, and this is to do with this energy looming over you, but that you're also allowing. And so joy is needing to be brought in so that this disruption to your energy field, this praying mantis is on the outside of the representation of you and your spiritual gifts. So I'm seeing that as your access point in a sense. This would be where it would attach to so that it could um, create blockages in having foresight and discernment, create blockages in being able to see um, the path ahead or see something that you're wishing to create, but the having like creating doubt in a sense as to how to be able to achieve that based on where you're at currently, right? So this energy that is attaching to your third eye is purposely blocking your third eye and purposely blocking your vision of the future or your ability to maintain your peace around going forward towards that path or your happiness about that, right? Or even just self belief and confidence in taking steps towards that. There is this disruptive energy trying to latch onto at this time based on where you are energetically and emotionally. So how do we how do we actually move past that, right? That's the thing that will be different for each of you. Of course, shadow work is always a great thing. Uh, but also these emotions, we have to explore why they keep coming up, right? Why do we allow ourselves to get to a state where we allow something outside of ourselves to dictate what we believe and what we don't? And this energy, whether it's seen or unseen, is no different. Even on a spiritual and psychic level, there are entities and things that are always trying to attach themselves to us, and they wait for our low points energetically and emotionally, as well as mentally, to come in and attach themselves. And so, given that I'm seeing these beautiful crystals in this vase here, um, the way to counter this is to elevate your vibration, elevate your emotional state from what I'm seeing here, allowing you to see the beauty. I'm seeing these beautiful flowers and these beautiful designs, including this chakra on the vase itself. I don't know if the camera will zoom in enough for that, but this beautiful chakra. So allowing yourself to elevate yourself. I'm wondering, is that the heart chakra? Hold on one second. I'm going to go look at my singing bowls. Which chakra is that? So this or this? Triangle. Triangle upside down in. Okay, so that's the root chakra. Okay, so root chakra. It's a little bit different, but that's the representation of the root chakra, which means that from what I'm just saying, what I've been channeling in, is that this energy here is really trying to disrupt your sense of security and safety, right? Because the root chakra is all about where we secure ourselves into the earth's energy, into our own safety, what we can create out of our own lives to feel safe, how we can make ourselves feel safe in a world that is full of chaos, right? And disruption. So this does make sense. And so elevating yourself beyond that and seeing the beauty in maybe maybe if you're not able to just see the beauty in the situation that you're currently in, to at least be able to look around and identify things that are beautiful, things that do bring you joy. Like, when I look at each one of my crystals, I always admire them because I'm just like, wow, they're so beautiful. Each one is so unique and different. And, I get lost in looking at these crystals and identifying all the unique features of them. And that brings me joy. Um, so what is it, that you can just pause in the middle of the day and when you're feeling these low vibrations and just look around and identify like 10 things while you're doing some deep breathings, 10 things that you can appreciate and love in that moment, or um, that you actually enjoy or that bring you joy, or even if you're at work, remembering something that somebody said that made you smile, or a conversation, or the job well done that you did, even if nobody else recognized that, right? So, what are the things that you can do to elevate yourself and see the beauty in the world? This is going to allow joy to come through. This is going to allow your harvest to actually come through too. And this is the biggest thing right now that the ancestors are saying, is that it's here. You've worked really hard to get here, but you have to be able to maintain a sense of joy and love, and not allow other energies to interfere with your life and take you down so low that you can develop new attachments, and I mean on a psychic level and an energetic level. I'm not really picking up that it's a physical thing, physical person, but it could show up in a person, this energy, right? So Of course, that's going to apply to each of you differently, but um, okay. What, which direction would you like me to go in now? Moonology, I heard. Okay. All right. Actually, ancestors, would you like to give some advice on these three runes first? Okay. They said, yeah, you can. Okay, because they have a completely different message coming through here with these Moonology cards. So let's get some advice. What advice do you have for the collective ancestors to help them align with their harvest, with their manifestations, other than what I've already channeled through clearly? What advice do you have for the collective? Ooh, synchronicity, energetic shift, acceptance. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I'm hearing that goes before. Okay, got them in order now. Pardon me. Okay, so the first card we have is acceptance. So there is, pardon me, there is a level of acceptance that needs to occur here. Um, and I'm getting that it's attached to a lot of regret, not just based on the situation that you've come out of, but possibly the life decisions you've made up until this point, is what I've heard. And so this is creating grief, is what they're saying. It's this comes back to um, accepting the fact that you didn't know everything that you know now. And so, therefore, you made the best decisions that you could with the information and the knowledge that you had at the time and the tools that you had at the time, because that's another part, right? And so, for many people in the collective, what's going on is that there is this deep wound within you that is bringing up all of the regret. And it's coming in the form of perhaps projecting about a certain situation that's more recent. But this goes, from what I'm feeling, this goes much deeper. And this is not like the ancestors are saying, this is not just your regret, but this is a familial pattern, a generational pattern of living a life where there's more regret than joy. And so the whole purpose of this path is to shift these dynamics, to heal these generational curses or wounds or patterns. But instead of living in that karmic way that all of us have lived up until we found this path, that it's now your chance or your opportunity to change the rest of your life to something that is more joyful and happy and rewarding and satisfying and has love in it, right? And so a certain level of acceptance needs to come in because this lack of acceptance and the ruminating on the decisions that you didn't make, the decisions that you did make that led you to where you are right now, all of these things come with a level of grief. And it is this grief that needs to be worked through because you can't change the past. You can't change what you didn't know. You can't change the toolkit that you were provided with when you were born into whatever family you were born into. The only thing that you can change is your future. And so acceptance is going to be the next step for you in order to reach the grief. Because before you can even access the grief, there is a level of acceptance that needs to happen. And I'm hearing honest acceptance without beating yourself up. So this, in order to access that grief, to shift that grief, to actually like transmute it, to heal it, it comes with the acceptance. And it also comes with the acceptance I'm hearing of understanding that what lies beneath all those other emotions that you're feeling is grief, is deep sadness. That's what that regret is. It's a deep sadness for what could have been had you made different decisions, or for what situation you're in right now because of the decisions or lack of decisions you chose throughout your life that led you to this point now. So they don't want you to live in regret. They want you to accept what led you to where you are today and accept that you do have the opportunity to shift that and change your life, which will then create this energetic shift. But they're asking you to please heal that. Please go in and feel that grief. You cannot bypass the grief. You cannot bypass the sadness, but you also cannot get to it without a level of acceptance first. And so by going in and feeling it and expressing whatever emotions you need to express. I mean, here's the thing that people misconstrue about this path is that people think that you have to be perfect, that you're not allowed to feel those lower vibrational energies because it's going to manifest something terrible in your life. No, that's not true. That is only true if you're holding that vibration for more than a day or two, right? If you are constantly in that vibration, yep, it's going to block your harvest. It's going to block your psychic gifts. It's going to block your clarity in your mind, your ability to discern. It's going to block you, period. And it will block your manifestations. That's when you stay in those lower vibrations, which is what's going on here from what I'm hearing and what I'm reading. You're staying in that, and therefore you're creating that. But the shift comes and the allowance comes when you recognize that it is nothing to fear to go into the emotions and allow yourself to sit with them and be with them and allow yourself to express them out loud, whether it's about a person or your own situations and decisions. Express them out loud, write them out, feel them. Just don't stay there. Right? Don't stay there for a day. Don't stay there for a week. That's what's going to create the kind of manifestations that you don't want. But it is safe and okay to get in there. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody on this planet is perfect. And anybody who believes that you should be, or if anybody's placed those expectations on you, or you had some sort of misconception of what manifestation is, then free yourself from that, right? Those are old programs, old ways of thinking, society, other people's opinions, other people's hangups. other people's wounds. Give yourself the freedom to understand that you are allowed to be imperfect. You're allowed to go through life feeling emotions, and anybody who tries to prevent you from feeling emotions does not have a seat at your table, right? So allow yourself to have this energetic shift through accepting that first you do need to go into the void. You see here, I always see like it's the water receding from the sand, but it's black and it's starry. I know this camera won't zoom into it from here because I've got it so zoomed into my table, but um, it it looks like the void, right? And so every time I see this, we need to accept that in order to move forward and get rid of the insecurities that exist within you that prevent you from living happily with the decisions or being able to trust yourself or being able to trust the universe, um, that you need to go into the void. The void is not a scary place. It's not a bad place. You've only been conditioned to believe that. And the ancestors are coming through to say, hey, um, you need to accept that you have a part to play in your own healing. That's what I heard. And so you need to go into that void, regardless of how painful it is. You need to be able to accept what happened, accept what is your current state, your current reality, and go into that void and feel those emotions instead of allowing yourself to project them outwardly to the past or to other people or to the situations. And this in turn creates this beautiful energetic shift for you, which is what will bring in synchronicities to your life. So you may have been struggling to see the synchronicities. You may have been struggling to, again, see your manifestations coming in. And so there might actually be a level of doubt around that, right? And it's because you've got this blockage that needs to be worked through, and it's emotional, but it affects all other aspects of you. And again, they want to reiterate it is completely okay to go in to your dark shadow and your void and allow that to come forward. And instead of denying it and suppressing it where it then grows and grows, accept it, love it, give it some love, give it some attention, validate the existence of that pain so that you can let it go. You can finally start to heal it. And this allows you to move into this energy of joy where you can appreciate and have gratitude for what's around you, which the more gratitude and excitement you have for life, the more synchronicities and synchronistic opportunities and people and situations seem to just align out of nowhere for you, right? And this is the shift that you want. You want to be able to see this harvest. And again, like, we've got the double whammy here. It is here for you. And with the synchronicity, I'm seeing also all of these birds in the background flying around. And when I saw that, when I just looked at that, I heard from the guides. Oh, I have goosebumps. I heard from the guides, that's your ancestors in the background working for you, working to seamlessly align all of these opportunities and people, pardon me, and situations into your life. And just because you can't see it right now because you're blocked by something creating insecurity within you, doesn't mean that they're not there. They want you to know that they are always there, always helping you. You can always ask for help. You can always lean on them. But at the same time, they can't do the work for you. They can only do the spiritual stuff in the background and the alignment of people and opportunities and stuff like that to come into your life. But you have to take actionable steps. And right now, the biggest actionable step that you can take for yourself is acceptance, but going into that grief, right? Accepting that it's there and we're avoiding it and loving that part of your shadow as well. I just want to tell you, this is the first time I've worn this ring. This was my grandmother's ring, and when I heard that we were doing an ancestor read, I was like, what piece of jewelry am I going to wear today? And yeah, this one came through actually, and I was like, you know what, that's perfect. It was more of costume jewelry, but it's pretty cool, pretty vintage. I'm not sure, maybe 60s, but I like it. Yeah, I'm digging it. Feeling the energy. All right, so let's see, where do we move next? Oh yeah, the moonology. Mhm, mhm. Thank you, holy ancestors. I am also going to grab some water, so give me a moment here. Okay, so thanks for bearing with me. Holy ancestors, what is your next message for the collective? I've already pre-shuffled the cards, but when I'm called to, I do reshuffle. Hmm. Is there anything that is no longer serving the collective? Okay, I'm hearing top one. Okay, can we get a little more clarity on that? Oh, okay. So many decks. uh, all right. Can we get a little clarity on new moon beginnings? What's no longer serving the collective with regards to this? Ooh, the giant deck. What's no longer serving the collective with regards? Wow, okay, too many. With regards to this new moon beginnings. Susan, thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Web of connection. Okay, so weave your connections thoughtfully, creating a supportive web that uplifts your personal and professional journeys. Okay. Ancestors, what would you like to communicate with the collective about this message? Mm, okay. So what I heard is three as a crowd. So that might be very specific for somebody. Three as a crowd. You're also seeing, I'm also seeing a crowd here in this web of connection. Okay. So the first thing I'm hearing with three as a crowd is that for some of you, this has to do with relationship dynamics and possibly like you have already stepped out of a relationship or you're in the middle of stepping out of a relationship where you suspected some sort of betrayal, a third party. And now a third party doesn't necessarily have to mean that the person was cheating on you. It could also be with a family member or with a friend, or like some other third party interference, right? It does not necessarily have to mean on a romantic level. But um, on an energetic level, there is some aspect of you that's still needing to step away, right? And this is a letting go, because when you're not letting go of, like maybe you're still holding on to some dynamic between the two of you, even though you've walked away, there is something that is still latched on. Maybe this ties into this acceptance. Maybe it ties into the emotions that need to be expressed for some of you. Um, but you're still keeping yourself entangled in this third party by not letting go, which will also prevent you from being able to manifest for yourself. If you're tied into somebody else's energy, all that work that you're putting in, quite possibly, excuse me, quite possibly could be going directly to that other person. And I'm seeing a lot of the oranges and reds and yellows, and she's wearing red, which is, again, your red is your root chakra. That's your safety, your security. Your orange, that is your sacral chakra, which is your creative life force, your ability to manifest, right? And then we see the yellows, which is your confidence and your trust and your faith. And so, what the ancestors are bringing through here big time right now, is that be careful who it is that you are connected to going forward, because you are in the transition point of your leaving your old life and your past versions of self to die in the past, right? But leaving your old life behind, shedding all of who you used to be and stepping into this newer version of yourself, which is a much higher elevated human being, who has a broader perspective and understanding of the world now, and who is a powerful creator, I'm hearing. But if you are still attached to other people's energies who are very low vibrational, or who are draining you because your energy is attached to them, then it does prevent you from stepping up into that version of yourself. And so then you have to weigh out, is the sacrifice of losing whatever it is that, whatever attachment or attachment to the feeling or a thing or person or the situation that you're needing to grieve and let go of, is it worth holding on to that and staying on a karmic path or a lower vibration for the rest of your life? Even though even though there may be risk involved, it may seem like there is risk involved. Is it worth it to stay there and be stuck because of this connection or this attachment or this other energy attaching itself to you and your new beginning? Like again, there's this energy. It could be a person down here, could be a person or people, who still have an attachment to you and who are trying to attach to your new beginning. But you are the one who has to be very careful about who it is that you are associating with, who you allow to come forward with you. Because if you have a drag on your energy, you're never going to make it to this harvest stage if you're still connected. And so, again, it's about weighing out the sacrifice versus the rewards. And it may seem like you are losing something. Maybe you feel like you're losing a part of yourself or your identity, but that is a part of you. That's a part of the old you, the old way of thinking, the old way of being that needs to be shed at this time. Maybe you feel like you're losing something materially or financially by letting go. But in the end, if you don't let go, from what I'm hearing, and I mean, it's obviously your choice, you have free will. This is just the guidance coming through. So, um, but if you don't let go, then there are consequences for that. And that is, in this sense, that you will have this attachment to your new beginning, which will not allow you to reach the highest states and goals and manifestations that you want. And wow, my throat. Hold on a second. Archangel Gabriel, I ask that you please assist in clearing my throat chakra and keeping it clear. Um, my throat chakra is acting up right now, all of a sudden, really badly. There is some sort of constriction in this message coming out. So somebody does not want you to see the truth here. That's what I'm getting. It's either an energy or a person or an energy in that person who does not want me to communicate this message to you to help you gain the clarity that you need in order to understand how this works. And so there is a suppression happening right now, trying to block the throat chakra and this communication from coming through. And it's because it has to do with your new beginning and whether or not you are willing to sacrifice that. And essentially, by being connected to this person or this energy or these people and the pain that may have been created from this situation, um, when you're still connected to it emotionally, on any kind of level, emotionally, energetically, physically, mentally, then whatever it is that you're working on, manifesting, and creating in your own life is going to be funneled into this energy because this energy sucks. It's like a vampire. It's draining and it's affecting all of your lower chakras and causing destabilization. And this is something that has to be considered because it is going to affect you for the rest of your life if it is not disconnected with in whatever way, shape, or form you possibly can, to the extent that you can, right? And it's going to take some level of sacrifice, but this is coming through as a warning from your ancestors that you need to be careful with who it is you're connected with. When your energy reaches a certain vibration or a certain stage, you've reached a certain level on your own path, you now then need to be very careful and choosy and selective about who you allow in, what types of energy, what kinds of baggage they might come with. You need to be careful of your work environments. You need to be careful of all people that you allow yourself to be attached to or allow into your environment. And so this really specifically talks about more so about the energies of the past for me, because it's really affecting those lower chakras. And so this may not necessarily be a relationship. This could also be your family. Yep. Um, yeah, wow. Hold on a second. They really don't want this to come out. This could also be your family because it is affecting those lower chakras, which are scarred and damaged in your childhood, right? Those are where you carry your deepest wounds and your deepest insecurities. And so the way to bypass that is to finally work through whatever this is for you, this grief that's underneath the acceptance. Finally work through that and detach emotionally. And in whatever other way that you may need to, maybe we should get some clarification as to um, any other ways that you may need to disconnect. Is this the right deck? This is a new deck, so I haven't actually used it yet. No, that's not it. I'm just going to reshuffle that though and put it back. I do want to use these cards though. They're more advice cards. Wow. All right. Okay, we got a whole bunch here. So, yeah, so this one was separate, past trauma. You need to take time for yourself and heal your past trauma before moving on, right? So this is definitely connected to that energy. And this past trauma is likely what is creating these kinds of dynamics. Triangulation, like I'm seeing triangulation here because of the way that everybody is set up, right? I'm seeing triangulation. I'm seeing third parties. I'm seeing wounds from childhood. This is a child. Looks pretty young though. Anyways, I don't know. But initially I saw a child in this too. So this could be affecting this dynamic for you and what it is that you need to work on and, be a little more wary of. We've got too much work, boundaries, self-neglect, and addiction. Okay. Yeah. So again, um, too much work could really discuss or really tap into a way of avoiding this pain. Wow. One of the ways in which people will avoid being alone with themselves or feeling the pain or ruminating about it is by focusing on other things, right? And that's not a bad thing unless you're doing it to cover up some past trauma or something that's coming up currently that's keeping you in regret, right? So something to be mindful of that this might be a mechanism for you to actually help you avoid it. rather than to look at it. For some of you, what is influencing this is boundaries, needing some boundaries, understanding that it's actually loving and kind to yourself to put up boundaries with other people, with these energies, and closing off these cycles, closing off your connection and your energy and your time, your involvement in this past connection or in this this party. um, Putting up boundaries and saying, you know what, I'm done. That's healthy. That says to yourself, to your inner child, hey, I love you enough that I'm going to protect you, right? I'm going to step away from this situation, even though it may feel like a loss, even though it might hurt, even though I'm where I'm at. I'm willing to do that for you because I love you. That is a boundary. And that is a boundary that is not self-neglecting, right? That is a boundary that is self-respecting, that is taking care of yourself. And so the self-neglect may be coming through because of the mountain of emotions that are being left undealt with, unprocessed here. The amount of grief that you may have had to suppress, depending on what your situation was. And at the time that it happened, maybe it happened as a child and you couldn't process it. Maybe you were in a survival state and you just had to get out of whatever situation you were in and you had to suppress a level of these emotions. But now they're coming up and they're manifesting in possibly self-neglect, right? Now, self-neglect can come in so many forms, and it can come in so many ways that we avoid having to feel these things. And one of them can be addiction, right? This could be pornography. This could be medications. This could be drugs. Could be alcohol. Could be social media. It could be people. Like I've known people who cannot at all be alone, not even for a moment. Like it drives them insane to be alone. They need people. They're addicted to people, right? Or addicted to validation or addicted to seeking and finding behaviors, right? These are all parts of the trauma response because of the grief and the other emotions that are hiding here. They're starting to mount. And they're going to continue to mount and manifest in other ways until you put up boundaries to protect yourself from this energy and boundaries to ensure that you're being careful about and selective about who and what you give your time to from here on out because it is what is connecting to your new beginnings and your new manifestations and your new life, period. So, just a little caution needed there that you become aware of whatever part of your story is here, and that you understand how it affects your new beginning, right? Or how it creates other situations. Like this trauma, addiction is a trauma response, right? Self neglect is a trauma response. A cluttered home or environment is a trauma response, right? Being a workaholic is a trauma response. There's so many ways in which we learn how to cope as human beings, and we all find very creative ways of doing it. But we also have to accept that that's what we're doing, and we have to accept that there's something there that needs to be addressed, right? And loved and worked through. And it's okay. It's totally okay.